So in the last class, we're discussing about what is backend, what actually we are doing in the backend. In the backend, what is framework, what is web framework, and what is Django, and why the demand of the Django is increased, and what is the history of the Django. Now, if I wanted to use the Django, then how to use the Django? Example purpose, when we are learning in the Bootstrap, how we are going to use the Bootstrap concept, because Bootstrap is also framework, and what is the design pattern is there, what is the method is there, what is the format to use the Bootstrap. There is a grid system, right? And apart from that, we need to use the some JavaScript command and built-in CSS commands. Similarly, if I wanted to use the Django framework, similarly we have some methods are there. There are some formats are there. There is some technique is there, and all these particular format, technique, or you can say methods are created as a one pattern. And this design pattern, or you can say architecture, why we say architecture means example purpose. If I wanted to build one particular apartment or building, then what I need to do, I need to create one particular design, okay, somewhere in the paper, okay, and that particular design is going to be the blueprint or the structure of that particular building. And then using those structure or design or architecture, we can implement that particular into the reality. Whatever the design is there, it is just in our particular mind only, right? It is in the paper only. Can we access the doors, whatever we have drawn in the paper? No, right? Can we access the kitchen? No, right? So if I wanted to access all these things, I need to build, right? And how to build using and by observing all the particular things what we have designed, and if we just follow all the particular guidelines which is given in the design, and then easily we can implement. Similarly, here I wanted to build one application. Then, okay, if I wanted to manage all my particular front end files, I wanted to manage all my particular Python related files, I wanted to integrate with the database, I wanted to communicate with the database, I wanted to store some particular data, I wanted to fetch some particular data, what are the functionalities I wanted to create, what are the authorizations I need to perform. So all these things, if I wanted to manage, if I wanted to execute, whatever the results I wanted to generate, so these things I can make it possible using what? Using one particular pattern. And this particular pattern, or you can say architecture, is called MVT. Okay. So now let's me draw one particular one simple design to understand. Just assume, okay, this is one particular, okay, let me just create three boxes, and here I'm going to write M, sorry, model, which is nothing but M. Next we have view, nothing but V, and next is the template, nothing but the T. Okay, so we have this particular MVT concept. So now whenever you develop any particular application, okay, so in that particular application, whatever the code you're going to write, okay, whatever the logic you're going to write to execute that particular result. For example, how to sign up, okay, how to log in, how the data is going to be displayed, how you're going to write those conditions. If I wanted to run my particular loop, okay, I wanted to store the multiple data, I wanted to access any particular structure of that particular code, okay, using the object formats. Okay, I wanted to use list to dictionaries, all these things. Okay, I wanted to access one file with the another files. All the particular code, your logic is going to be written where in this particular view section. Okay, so here what actually doing, we're going to add our logic, add a writing the logic here. Okay, whatever you wanted to perform. Okay, so here your nothing but your Python code. How the things are going to be implemented. Okay, or you can say what need to be executed. So this is your trigger. You can say this is your particular, you can say remote things, you can say. Okay, for example, if you watching your some particular TV and how the things are going to be moved. Okay, you wanted to mute, you don't want it to unmute. Okay, all the things. Okay, you wanted to change the channels. Okay, just assume this is the main thing, the view where you're going to write all the particular Python code and how you wanted to generate the results. All these things are going to be written inside of the view. Similarly, okay, if you write something and for example you're going to integrate the databases, how the data is going to be stored, okay, how the data is going to fetch, but where it is storing, okay, this data sections, okay, this is your, the model is nothing but your data section. This is what, this is your data sections, all the particular databases, or you can say data related activity. So model is all about your particular databases. And okay, you're writing, you have some particular data, you're writing the code, but how you're going to be displayed those things. So that is nothing but your template. You can see here your HTML files, okay, the front end view. Okay, so for that purpose, you have a DTL concept also, Django template language, to manage all the front end related activities. So this is already your front end or user interface. Okay, what you want to display in the interface to the user. Okay, all these things you're going to manage. Okay, these things is your template, model, view, template. Okay, so model is all about your databases, view is all about your particular logic or code what you wanted to write, and template is all about your particular front end part. Simply you can understand like this. Just assume this is your one particular interface is there. Okay, so just assume this is your interface. You can just write simple lines. Okay, so just assume this is your interface. In that interface, okay, just assume there is a one particular menu is added here. Okay, some a side menu also added here. Okay, some footer is added here. Okay, again you are displaying some particular card information. Okay, some information is going to be displayed. Okay, in this some images are there. Okay, again inside of that there is a some particular buttons are added, minus something, some plus is added here. Okay, and whatever the activity you are doing, okay, you click something, you're doing some particular action. For example, what we have done, okay, you have click on this. Okay, you have click on this. Okay, so you're doing some particular action. Okay, what we have done as a user, you have click. Okay, or you can say user interactivity, or what we can say user action. Okay, so these things are happening here. So if these things are happening, what will happen? This is your client side. This is your client side, or you can say user interface side. So listen carefully. Client side or user interface side, nothing but your front end part, or you can say this is your front end part. So if anything is happening here, then what will happen? If user is doing any interactivity, then what will happen? It will send the request to the server. Just assume there are some particular, all the particular Python files are written. Okay, so this is your server. This is what, this is your server. Okay, this is your server. So what will happen? This particular, if something is doing, then request send. So here request send, request sent to server. Server nothing but uh, it is where all the particular files are saved. Okay, example purpose, when we are developing something, all HTML things, okay, all the things files are saved in our folder only. That's why we can able to get the output here. So these outputs are going to be displayed in the live, means all the particular users are going to be get the information live. Okay, means instant they are can able to get all the particular information. For that purpose, what we have done, we have created one server, and server is nothing but, just assume there is a one particular CPU is there. Okay, and that we have installed, instead of normal particular operating system, we have installed the server operating system. And then what we have connected with one dedicated IP address, okay, with some particular high configuration. And then we have stored all the particular files there, and that will become the server. Now now what we have to do here, now you have written some particular code here. Okay, in this all the particular Python files are there, all the particular, just assume there is one particular dot file, dot py file is there. Okay, dot html files will be there, all the files will be there here. Okay, so in one particular section, just assume some particular files are there. Now this particular, if you click something, some operations are happening here, one two things, or if user wants to get some particular data, so this data is going to be saved where, just assume there is a one more section is there. Just assume that is your databases. Okay, there is a, just assume there is a one more particular section is there, and assume this is your database section, and just assume this is your database. Assume, okay, just assume this is your databases. So now what will happen from this particular point? Okay, from this particular point, again request sent to this particular database. If some data is there, okay, it is going to capture that particular data, and again from these particular files, okay, again for displaying purpose, what we do, we write some .html files also. We are going to write some particular .html files also. Okay, so here we are going to write some .html files. So these files for what purpose? So displaying the front end, right? Okay, in your server all the files will be there. So then what will happen? Again, this from this particular Python file, again we are giving the data to HTML, and from this, okay, we are going to respond to this particular user, and we are displaying whatever you wanted to display. Okay, again we are sending, means once request is sending, then again we are responding. If request send means, what actually we are doing here, we are responding. So this is the things is going to work when you develop any particular application. Is it clear? The architecture is clear? Yes, no, any doubt, any question? How the things work? So let me save this particular architecture. Where is our folder? Okay. So here I'm going to write first file as a MVT, how the things are work. Okay. Now, next thing you can see same thing. You can go through this particular theoretical point. The model acts as the data access layer. So it handles the interaction with the database. So if I want to store the data, if I wanted to access the data, so everything is going to be saved in the databases. We have different databases are there, like MySQL, PostgreSQL, MS SQL, okay, Oracle SQL, all that is IBM SQL data. Okay. Now views nothing but the where you're going to handle your particular code. Okay, all the particular logics. So it having all the particular files, HTML files, CSS files, Python files, okay, all the things. So this is the main controller. Templates are nothing but the front end part. Okay. So here we are going to displaying like what actually we wanted to display the result or execution to the end user. So here we are going to write that, for example, in the HTML also we are going to write the some particular Python particular concept that is called Django template language. Okay, here we are going to write some conditions, loops, some filters. Okay, all these things we are going to implement. Okay, so what are the top companies are using in the last class also? Because almost all the particular global market companies are using your particular Python Django. Okay, to develop their particular application, to maintain their particular applications. So now how to start the Django? So what are the basic requirements are there in the front end part? Okay, let me just add you. In the front end part, compulsory HTML is required. Okay, minimum HTML is required. In the back end part, minimum Python is required. Okay, and it will be good if you know some particular basics of databases. Okay, these things are basic requirements. Apart from that, it will be good if you know CSS and Bootstrap also. Okay. Now, how to use these things? So to use these things, we need one particular softwares and we need one particular editor. Okay. So what are the softwares are required? First of all, Python must be installed in your particular laptop or any particular computer. So how to check this Python is installed or not? So we have already installed the Python when we learning the Python. So here we are going to mention Python space hyphen hyphen version. When this particular Python is installed, what you need to do, you need to install the Django. So how to install the Django? You have to open the command prompt and then you have to click on the run as the administrator. And then you have to click yes button and simply you have to mention one particular command. And what is the command here? You have to mention the command Django, okay, so pip install, okay, Django. Once you enter this particular command, your particular Django is going to be installed. Okay, once it is going to be installed, okay, what you have to do again, you have to close this particular command prompt. So when you're installing something, make sure in the it is in the which mode, it is in the admin mode. Okay, in the top, you can talk in the top particular part, you can see administrator command prompt. Okay, and next, once it is installed, again go to the normal command prompt and check whether it is installed or not. How to check? You have to mention Django admin hyphen hyphen version. Once you enter this particular command, okay, spelling, okay, spelling mistake is there. Okay, and now you can see here the present version 5 is running, and now you can see here this is already installed. So once we install all these things, what is the next step here? Okay, once you install all these things, what you have to do, you have checked Python is also installed, Django is also installed. Now we have to create the project. How to create the project? So first of all, we need the folder here. You have to create some particular folder here. So you can create any particular folder. Let's write here something like Django folder. Let's say one particular folder I want to create. In this folder, I wanted to store all the particular files. Okay. So for that purpose, what you can do, you can create one particular folder here, or else directly what you can do, you can go to the command prompt of this particular folder, or else you can open this particular folder in the Visual Studio Code also. Both things you can do. Let's open the command prompt, and in the command prompt, what we have to mention Here you have to mention the installation command, means how to create the project. So what is the simple command is that you have to mention Django admin start project and your project name. Okay, we'll do in the command prompt, and next thing, same thing we'll do in the Visual Studio Code also. Okay, and what you have to mention, you have to mention Django admin, and then you have to mention the start project, and then you have to give some particular project name. For example, I'm giving this particular project name as a Pushpa. Okay, so once I enter this particular command, what will happen? Now you can see here one project is created with the name of Pushpa, and there are some files are there. And if I wanted to check all the particular files are working perfectly or not, so I need to go to the inside of this is the main folder. Inside of the file folder, there is a all the files are there. So using this manage.py files, you're going to access all the particular files, and we are going to manage our project here. So simply what you have to do here, you have to go to the inside of the folder, that is using the cd and Pushpa. Now we are inside of the project folder. Now we can access the manage file. So here you have to mention Python manage.py file, and there is the one command to run the project, run server. Once you mention this particular command, your particular files are going to be activated, and you'll get one particular dummy link. Now you can see your dummy link here, and just you have to copy this particular link, and if you wanted to check it, you can open a new tab and copy paste that particular link. Now you can see here the installation works successfully. Congratulations. Means your project is created here, and there is some dummy pages available for you. So this is the way like how you're going to create the project. And what I wanted to do here now, I wanted to next thing what I wanted to do, I wanted to create the same thing I wanted to create using the Visual Studio Code. So how I'm going to create these things? So simply I just need to create one more particular project here. So for that purpose, this is my Django project here. Let's go to the Visual Studio Code. So let's open VS Code. So this is my Visual Studio Code, and in the Visual Studio Code, just you have to open the folder. Okay, so let me just you can see here nothing here already one folder is there. So let me just close this folder first of all. Now you can see here there is a no folder is saved. Now what I need to do, I need to open the folder. So I click on the open folder, and where we have created the folder in the F drive 2024 April 7 a.m. Django. Okay, in the Django project. So this is our folder actually. Okay, so now if I select a folder, now you can see here there is one already one Pushpa project is there, but I don't want the Pushpa, right? We need to create the one more project. So for that purpose, we have to go to the terminal. Just click on this menu, go to the terminal, click on the new terminal. Okay, like how we are writing in the command prompt, same thing we are going to write here. So what we have tried, same thing you have to mention Django, okay, then hyphen admin, and then you have tried start project, and then you have to give the any particular project name. So how you're going to give the project name? So here you have to mention some name. Let me give this particular name as a RRR. Okay, and once I enter this, now you can see here one project is created with the name of RRR. Now I wanted to access the RRR and enter this. Now we are into the inside of the RRR, and now what and if I need to run this, I just need to mention here the command Python manage .py. Now you can see if I wanted to check, you can see okay inside of the RR you have this particular files, and just I need to command run server. Once I run, you can see server is going to be start, because by default your Django is going to create all the servers. Because if you use other particular frameworks of other programming language, you have to install the servers, okay, Apache servers, all those things. But here inbuilt everything is available. Okay, I just you can see one link is created here. I just need to click on this particular link here, click on the follow link, and now you can see same. This is the first project server, and this is my second particular thing. Okay, so you can see here our particular project is running perfectly, right? So what I need to do here now, next thing here, I just need to delete this, and now you can see here every time what is happening here, it is created one main folder, and then inside of that some particular folders are creating here. So now what I wanted to do directly, I wanted to add all the things in my particular project only. For example, let me create one particular So here let's write direct. Okay, so what will happen when I create the project here? Okay, you can see here it is not going to create the separate main folder. Now what is happening here, when you're creating the folder, inside of that there is a one more files are there. Now you can see inside of that some files are there. Okay, but what I wanted to do directly, I wanted to create the folder. I don't want the main folder again. I need to write the cd space folder name. Directly I wanted to access. So let me just create okay, here I'm going to open this direct folder, or else let's close all the folders here. Okay, so here open the folder with drive 24, and now you can see where is the folder April 7 a.m. Django, and next is what, Django project, and then okay, so this is the folder where I wanted to create the project. So here what I need to do, I just need to go to the terminal. Same thing, you can open the command prompt also, and here I'm going to run the simple command. Okay, same particular command will be there, only one thing will be extra. Okay, so what thing, you have to mention Django admin start project, and then here you need to mention project name. Let's give this particular uh, project name as something like Bahubali. Okay, and then I need to mention space dot. So once you mention this particular dot, it will not create the main folder, directly it will create the files. So now you can see here, once I enter, now you can see here directly files are created. Earlier what is happening, one folder is creating, inside of the folder I need to go. Now you can see every time I'm writing the cd space, right? Now I don't need to mention the cd space, directly I can write python space manage.py and run server. Okay, so now you can see here server started here, and now if I click on this particular link, and now you can see this is the first time, okay, we have created using the command prompt Visual Studio, and this without creating the main folder, directly we are creating the project. So this is the way, like how you're going to create the project in the Django. Clear? Any doubt, any questions? Okay, so in the next class we are going to understand, okay, this is the project we have created, but these things are we are going to display to the client? No, right? These are not things we are going to, this is the just dummy information. What I wanted to edit this particular page. I want my own particular menu. I want my own particular content. I want my own particular functionalities. I want my own particular data. How to create the HTML pages, how to write the Python files code, and what is these things. Okay, you can see here in this, you can see there is a Bahubali folder, there is a setting files, URL files, or what are these files are there. Okay, and we are going to write the Python code, where we are going to write the HTML code, how the database are going to be. So everything we are going to connect, okay, in the next particular session. Okay, so in the next class, what we are going to understand, next class we are going to understand how we can create the app. So what is this particular app is there, okay, and how to write our particular Python code. All these things we're going to discuss. Okay, so that's it for today. In the next class, we're creating the app, and we're creating the HTML pages, and we're going to display our own particular content using the Django. Okay, so then that's it for today.